Are you sure?
No.
All right. Well, if you're not ready, I'm not ready. Let's just jump right into it because it's season 3, episode 4. Welcome back, everybody, to the Designated Players Podcast. We're back with deep dives. Well, not so
Not
deep
so
dives,
deep dives. Come on, get
not
it
so
right.
deep dives because we don't have enough time to deep dive into everybody. We don't make millions of dollars. We don't have unlimited space to post these these episodes. 7 teams, 1 hour. Chicago, San Jose, Vancouver, Colorado, Galaxy, our good friends Minnesota, who loved our deep dive last year, and New England. If you guys don't know what we're doing, go check out our last episode. It's pretty self-explanatory. We're going to talk about the teams on this board, what they've got to do to be good this season, what we think they're going to be, where they were last year, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But before we do any of it, I'm going to go first for Scarf of the Week because I'm better than you. I broke this out at the end of season 2. I think it's right side up.
Nope. You got it upside down.
Unlucky.
Nice one.
Unlucky. One of the teams is Vancouver, so we're repping a Vancouver scarf. Big ups, Brian White, and Brian White only. What about you? What do you reckon?
I want to say this is the first time in DP Pod history that we are matching on teams.
So in an upcoming episode, there is an opportunity for not only to match teams, but to match the exact same scarf. And we might have to do it. There is that opportunity, but that is for.
Are you talking about FCC?
I might be. I very well might be, but that is for a future episode, possibly.
We'll have to coordinate.
That's next Monday's episode. So,
all right.
All right, let's just jump right into it. We're going to go right to Chicago, who is secretly having, if some of these rumored transfers go through, is secretly having a very good season, off season rather. Ezra Hendrickson takes over for his first year in Chicago, taking over a team that finished 12th in the East last year, just above our good friend Cincinnati, 9-18-7, 34 points. He also finished over TFC, but we always like to bring out how bad Cincinnati is. Projected 11 is going to be different and interesting with the way that Ezra lines up here. However, if you're going to go basic 4-3-3, which is kind of where that's where I tend to go, and you can correct me if you think I've missed something here. Gaga Slanina in between the sticks with Espinoza, Chizikos, Pineda, and Navarro making up a back 4. Jimenez, the other Navarro, and Gutierrez as a midfield 3. And then Fabian Herbers, Kasper Shabilko, newly in from Philadelphia, and where it hasn't been official yet as of Sunday, February 6th, but Xherdan Shaqiri at left wing. What do you think about that lineup right now?
Well, I can tell you right off the bat that you got the goalkeeper spot wrong because I don't care if they have Gaga Slanina on the team. Spencer Ritchie is on this team and will absolutely be making appearances because
I'm hanging
now this is Jason's new favorite team, so Spencer Ritchie has to be in goal. It has. It's. Listen, I don't make the rules. No, I think that's pretty spot on. I think that's pretty much how I would see them lining up as well. Although there is a distinct lack of Wyatt Omsberg in there.
You really want me to hang up this call, don't you? All right. Well, you think that this is going to be the starting lineup? You've talked about some of their transfers. Did they get better this window? Do you think they improved?
It's weird because you look at the group of guys that they brought in and you would absolutely say, yeah, like this is a good group that's coming in, especially if they land Shaqiri, they have Shabilko, Chizikos. But they did lose a lot of their most productive guys. I mean, granted, they finished 12th. So how productive can these guys actually be?
That's kind of the way I went about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, they lost Baric, who obviously had a really rough season last year. Stojanovic, who was actually probably their best player, arguably, last season. And they lost Madron, who was I feel like the
he was the guy.
Yeah, I mean, he was their heart and soul in the midfield. Um, I'm gonna say they do get better just because it seemed while those like three core guys seem to be pretty good players, they didn't seem to just click together. So why not give it another shot with a new group? I think how much worse can they get? I mean, you only have two more spots to go down, so I can't see them getting too much worse.
That's funny. Yeah, that was kind of the same way I went about it. How much worse could they have gotten? So I'm gonna say they didn't get better until they get Shaqiri. Jabilko for Beric is probably a straight swap. Gutierrez in the attacking mid is going to be an interesting one. He didn't get a lot of time, but he's got a lot of potential. Obviously, Gaga Slonina is going to need to make 400 saves a game. It's going to be a good one. But who do you think their best addition is? Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped the question. We'll go back to it.
Okay. I want to say that. What'd you say?
Best addition. Go ahead.
I want to say Shizikos. I think that's going to be a very under the radar move because obviously, again, not big name, not South American youngster coming in, but a guy that's like super experienced playing in Germany. And from everything I've looked at, he was very consistent and good in Germany, especially, at the top flight as well in the Bundesliga. He is getting, I mean, favorite word, bring it back, season 3, it never dies, wrong side of 30. But I still think at least in the short term, he could do a very good job for this team. So I think this is a very sneaky good signing for them.
Kind of like how I said in episode 1. Oh, what? Did I drop a little plug in there? Everybody go check out episode 1 if you haven't seen it already.
I mean, you might as well plug episode 2 then as well. Why not?
Go watch every episode that we've put out since like day 1. Why not?
Yeah.
Go listen to them.
Might as well.
I'm going to say, obviously, Shaqiri for me is going to be their big one because they haven't had a really good productive winger since David Accam. And we've talked a lot about the lack of winger talent in MLS. And even, you look at and Nani and Shaqiri are 2 different players, but even Nani at age, whatever he was when he came over, I don't think anybody was expecting the type of output that he gave. And I think based off of the levels that Shaqiri's played at, I think he will be the best signing for them. But I also think Jabilko is a really good one too. I didn't mention Shizikos because I talked about him on episode 1. What do they need to do to get better? What do they need to do to get better? Like, who do they need to sign?
I want to say that they need a central playmaker at the moment. I think they lost Madron, who I think could have served that role super well. And I don't think they've really replaced it. I think I can definitely see the argument for like outside back as well. I feel like they're pretty strong defensively in like the central part of the field. Like they have Shizikos, they have Pineda, they have I'm blanking Jimenez. So I feel like they're pretty strong there. Jabilko up top should be pretty good. Shaqiri on the wing. They still have 04 as well. But I feel like they're missing that central playmaker because I mean, I'm looking through the roster right now, unless I'm just missing somebody. That seems to be something they're lacking. I mean, I know you mentioned Gutierrez, I think could maybe play in that role, but it's a little bit more uncertain there since he doesn't really have much of a sample size at all. So I definitely, if that's the way they want to go is playing the youngster, obviously that's very MLS 4.0 of them. But I would just say that's the most uncertain position for me. So I would probably say that or probably fullback.
Yeah, I went the same thing, center mid depth across all types of central midfielders. So you're pretty solid on your DM, but you've got 6. I'll say 6. 2 of them are 3. Actually, 4 of the 6 defensive midfielders are players who came through your academy system, which is great. but are all under, I believe, 20 years old. And the only center mid of those 6 who has more than 15 starts over the last 2 seasons is Gaston Jimenez. So definitely need one more piece. And I'm sure that there is somebody who's going to be there. I just don't know who it is. There's also the idea of them going into a 5-back system, throwing Carlos Terán in the middle of the 5-back, letting the wing backs go up, and then using just Navarro and Jimenez as kind of like the central players. And then Shabilko comes in and plays hold up, or even, I mean, really, you could probably put Shaqiri into that playmaking role. I'm sure he's got the ability to do it. Very Maxi Morales-esque, not in the same sense of his ability, but you might be able to pull that off and then go ahead and throw a second striker up there. Go ahead, throw a 4 next to Shabilko. And that's going to be a big question for Ezra to figure out, right?
Yeah.
Their biggest loss to me, the player who is going to hurt them the most, is Alvaro Madron. I think WhoScored rated him as the best player. But again, that's not saying much on last year's team. But losing him and then losing Beric as well, you've got 19 goal contributions you're missing from a team that scored like 30 goals. So Madron kind of was a big playmaker, put everything together. It's going to be tough to replace him, but we'll see how that works.
Yeah, that was my pick too. I also think Madron is probably their biggest loss.
Nice. All right, who are you watching? 2022 player to watch.
Come on, it's too easy. It's too easy. I have to say Slonina. It has to be.
Herbers.
Huh?
Fabian Herbers.
No, nice try. Yeah, it's got to be Slonina this year. I think his small sample size last year, granted it was small, was superb, despite the fact that Chicago was still bad. But a full season watching him play at that level would be so fun to watch and absolutely earn him, the well-deserved rumored move that he has been getting to Europe. So,
yep, I agree. That's my same pick for that same reason. Biggest question for me: how quickly can they get this team to work together? You've got massive turnover from last year. You're missing Madron, Calvo in the back, Stojanovic, Aliseda, Beric, Kapelhoff. You brought in Shaq. You brought in Shabilko. You brought in, Chizikos. You brought in all these different players, and Navarro got a quarter of a season to impress. But how quickly, with a new coach, can you get these guys playing together? The speed at which you are able to turn that over will be what determines their success this year.
Yeah, my question going into the season is, are the young guys up for it? I think this is a team that is ripe for chances for these young players like Pineda, Slonina, Gutierrez. If they get the game time that it looks like they may be able to get, are they going to be up for the task? Are they going to take it and, utilize it well? Or are we going to see bits of inexperience showing and see Chicago slide down the standings again?
Fair, totally fair. All right, where do they finish?
I don't see Chicago making the playoffs this year. I think that there is a lot of turnover. I still think that their team is pretty young, with the exception of a couple players. So I think there'll still be some growing pains this season. I see them probably somewhere between 9th and I don't want to give that big of a range. I'm going to say between 10th and 13th.
Ooh, mean. I've got 2 ranges here, one with Shaqiri, one without Shaqiri. Without Shaqiri, 9th to 12th. I think they're low. I think they miss out. I dropped my eraser. Hold on. 6th to 9th, if they get Shaqiri. I think they might sneak in.
That's a bold claim.
Am I giving a spoiler for one of my bold predictions? I don't know. But I think something special is happening here. I'm telling you, 2017, German center back. They might need an improved midfield. New striker that's a big target guy who's got prolific goal scoring ability and a decent winger. The cards are lining up here. I'm just saying.
Lightning doesn't strike twice.
Lightning strikes twice all the time. Have you ever been in a lightning storm? It strikes like 50 times.
In the same spot.
Oh, in the same spot. So you didn't say the complete phrase and you messed up.
Oh my God. Can we just move on? And now I'm going to hang up.
We'll move right into San Jose. Have you ever listened to a San Jose broadcast, man, when they play?
I can't say that I have.
Oh my God, it is phenomenal. They're the voice of that team, I guess, for lack of a better term. So good. It's between him and the guy for DC United that like are really good but really bother me. But man, the guy for DC United is awful. He's like, every time they score a goal, he'll just go, "It's in the net. It's in the net. It's in the net." And he'll say it like 7 times before he goes on and says something else. I'm like, dude, we get it. But anyways, we're not talking about DC United. That was the last episode. If you haven't seen it, go check it out wherever you get your podcasts. Look at that. Look at that transition. We're going to go to San Jose where Matias Almeida is taking his team who finished 10th in the West last year, 10, 13, and 11, 41 points into yet another season where he's probably going to try and man mark everybody on the field. God, I wish not. My projected 11, again, in a 4-3-3, which is what they played mostly last year. Marcinkowski in goal, a split right down the middle between Thompson and Paul Marie, who basically split time there last year. Nathan and Calvo in the middle, their new signing from Chicago. Lopez at left back. A center mid. The center mid duo is tough. Jan Gregus, Judson, and Chofis Lopez are my 3 right now, which means, unfortunately, USMNT poster boy Jackson Ewell does not make the starting 11 in this team, nor does Eric Mermetti. So it'll be very interesting to see how that works out for that team, because that's a lot of midfield talent to not have on the team. Anyways, moving into the attack, Espinoza on the right, Kate Cowell up top, and Shea Salinas at left wing. Currently, as looking at their roster, they could be making some changes that we haven't seen yet. What do you think? You think I missed anything? You think anybody else you think there'll be a different shape maybe?
I mean, potentially they could maybe try to work in something that's more central midfield heavy, since that seems to be their strong spot. But no, I mean, I think that's probably pretty fair.
Yeah, the other thing that they're real low on is strikers, but we'll get to that. Did they improve? Do you think they got better with some of the moves that they've made?
You know what? Actually, I will make one recommendation to change the lineup you mentioned. Sure. I think Kate Cowell and Espinosa are probably on the wings, and then Abobasi is probably a striker.
That's kind of what I was thinking. But when I looked up Kate Cowell's stats from last year, he was mainly a central player who drifted out wide. So I originally set it up that way with Cowell at left wing and Abobasi up top. But I will definitely make that change for you, Connor.
So maybe Abobasi goes on the wing then. I'd be kind of surprised if Shea Salinas is starting for the team still. He seems more like a super sub.
I agree. I definitely agree. Did they get better?
Did they even make any moves?
They brought Calvo in.
Yeah. I'm going to say they brought Gregerson too.
They did bring Gregerson, yep.
If they did get better, it was like ever so marginally. I really don't think they improved that much. But granted, I don't think they got worse because I don't really think they lost much.
Sure. I mean, the question isn't did they get worse? The question is did they get better?
Maybe slightly. That's probably the best answer I can give you. It's just ever so slightly.
I went with no. I don't think Jan Gregus is as big as an upgrade as people are thinking it is.
Probably not. Yeah.
I mean, we watched Jackson Ewell play. I mean, nobody's going to improve upon it.
He's in the USMNT for a reason.
Duh. He definitely doesn't have Greg in his back pocket. Calvo and Alanis are basically a wash, I think. Abacasas is out, no replacement. Carlos Fierro is out, no replacement yet. Again, and yet, right, this all changes, right? If this gets posted on Wednesday the 9th, and on Thursday the 10th, they go out and sign 4 wingers, and obviously this means nothing. But I don't think they got better this window. No, not yet.
That's fair.
What do they need? They need a left wing, at least some depth. If they're gonna play Cowell out wide, they need somebody who's gonna be able to give him a break. Need some left back depth. You've got Francisco Calvo, who can play out there. You probably won't want to put him out there. Paul Marie can play over there, but you're probably going to want somebody a little bit better over there. Yeah, you're going to want just a little bit of depth on your wing backs there. What about you?
Honestly, I feel like they need depth anywhere outside of central midfield. And obviously, they're overflowing with guys there, but I feel like you look anywhere else on the field and they're pretty thin. They have guys there, but I don't think those guys are really experienced much. They seem to consistently be the same crop of guys that are backing up every season. It feels like Matt Bersano was just re-signed and he's never made an MLS appearance in his career, I don't think. And I'm pretty sure he's the number 2, unless it's Ochoa. But
man, I wish it's Ochoa. Dude, I'm hoping for a good. I'm hoping he does something good in the next couple of years. I've heard good things.
Yeah, but yeah, I just think this team is super thin outside of the central mid position. So I'd say they need depth almost everywhere.
All right. Best addition. Who do you think is their best pickup?
Well, seeing as how it's pretty much Calvo or Jan Gregers, I'll go Jan Gregers because I just think he's a better player than Calvo. Even though I completely agree with you, and they're not getting the Jan Gregers of a few years ago in Minnesota, but I still think he is a pretty talented player.
Sure, yeah, and I went with Calvo. I think he's an MLS vet who can slide in and basically straight up replace Alanis. Doesn't have to worry about learning the league or the language or anything like that. But obviously, we all know who the biggest loss in this team was. Daniel Vega has retired, and we will no longer be able to speak about him on the podcast. So,
rumor has it you threw a party when you heard that. But again, just rumors.
Just rumors, yeah. No. So they didn't lose a lot. We talked about this just a bit ago. They didn't lose a ton of, starting level players. Maybe not for the better because they weren't great last year. But I'll go say Alanis, right? He was probably one of the best players that they lost. And of course, in the same breath as Diego Valeri from Portland and Chris Wando retiring, takes a little bit of wind out of your sails in San Jose.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
Yeah, what do you got?
I like the Alanis shout. I'm going to say probably about on par, in my opinion, maybe Carlos Fierro as well. Mm-hmm. Just since they're really lacking attacking depth right now. But yeah, I don't think they really lost anything super significant. So
yeah, I agree.
Besides Wando, of course.
Yeah, obviously. But all right, who are you watching this year?
Jackson Ewell.
Yes, sir.
I only got eyes for one San Jose player. I don't want to go with the obvious one and just say Cade Cowell because everybody's watching Cade Cowell this year. So I'm going to say Nathan. I think he is very similar to Slanina and had a small sample size last year, but in that small sample size was really good. So let's see on a larger sample size if he can, replicate that and continue that success on the field. So I'll be keeping an eye on him this season.
I like that. I am going to say that I picked Cade Cowell, but to go away from the obvious, Oscar Asgren. I watched him a little bit this year. He's a defensive draft pick out of Clemson. and he was in the Herman Trophy finalist list. It was him, Daniel Tevez, and Paul Vara, who made his move overseas already. I think he might, with the way that back line is laid out, he might get a little bit of time. So he might be one to watch this year as well.
That's a good shot.
Biggest question for me going into the season: are we going to stop man marking? Have we not learned that this doesn't work? And then how is Almeida going to use all this midfield talent? But please, can we learn that man marking doesn't work? I'm so tired of watching it fail.
Well, you got probably at least another season of it. Yeah, my question pretty much was the second part that you mentioned. How are they going to make all this central midfield attacking work? I don't know if it's going to be a lineup change or just guys get benched or traded, but yeah, that's pretty much my question.
All right, where are they finishing?
Yeah, I can't really say that they make the playoffs. They really didn't improve on last season where they missed the playoffs. So I'm gonna say they're probably in a similar range to Chicago. I want to say I could see anywhere between like 11th and 14th, honestly.
It's weird because last episode you're trying to put everybody 3 to 6. So now is everybody just going to be 11 to 14? Is that?
Listen, it's not my fault that you picked the stronger teams in the first episode and the weaker ones in the second.
I didn't pick anything. The randomizer picked.
No, you picked. That's why Red Bull's first.
No, I didn't. I swear. Next time I'll send you a screenshot. I also have them 10 to 13, 10 to 14. I don't think that they make the playoffs with this team with the man marking system and the confusion of what shape they're going to make. Could be wrong, but I got 10 to 13.
I'm going to change my question really quick.
Just about
I think my question is, does Almeida make it the full season or does he get fired before that point?
I like that one. I like that. That might be, I'm going to have to edit the video to make it like a TikTok and, question for the year.
Yeah, I would be very curious to see what San Jose fans say on that, if they think he'll make it the full season or if they want him to make it the full season.
Speaking of, we keep getting massive engagement on these tweets, man. We are blowing up here. If you guys haven't followed us on social media, make sure you go follow us. Twitter is where we're most active. Go follow us. We're really good at Twitter.
Yeah.
All right. Over to Canada. Oh, Canada. I don't know the rest of the words.
That's okay.
Mark Dos Santos takes Vancouver into his second season. Looking for back-to-back playoff appearances after finishing 6th in the West, 12, 9, and 13 with 49 points. Projected 11 based off of their formation last year. Thomas Asal, either Blackman or Javian Brown, Youngworth, Godoy or Veselinovic, Gutierrez in a back four. So that back four, the question of who's going to be in there, I wouldn't be shocked to see Youngworth dropped for Blackman as a center back and then Brown play right back as well. But
got Nervinsky in there too.
Oh, that's right, Jake Nervinsky. He'll probably flip out on the left back, right?
It's funny. I feel like they're pretty deep in the back line, but I don't feel like anybody's really that great.
It's like being deep at a C team level.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Gutierrez, but that's about it.
Javian Brown was really good too last year.
Oh, yes. Brown was pretty good last season too, yeah. And I think Nervinsky pretty good. But anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
In the middle, Russell Tybert and either Michael Baldisimo or a healthy Chow Alexander, if he still exists. They bought that man for $13 million. And I literally did not hear his name once all year. I know he was hurt in the back end, but come on, really?
Yeah, that was not a good signing. At least so far.
Not yet. Not yet.
So far, not good, but still time.
Ryan Gaul playing in the number 10 role with Dejome Caicedo flanking our Lord and Savior Brian White. What do you think? You think, I know we just kind of talked about it, but anything else you would change in that front six?
No, probably not. But I think if Brian White struggles to start the year, would not surprise me if they pull the plug on him quickly and go back to Cavallini.
I mean, they just signed him to a 4-year contract extension. I'm assuming they'll give him a little bit of time.
Yeah, I'm sure, but it's not like, there's a lot of talent sitting right behind him. So there's not like probably a super long leash for him.
No, I get that. Really, they didn't do a lot of movement this window. Not a lot of people coming in. They brought Blackman in, and Crepeau left, but he's replaced by Hasal. They didn't get better. They didn't get worse. They didn't really do anything.
I think they got worse.
Because you don't like Blackman, and I get it, but like
it's not just about Blackman, but
they lost your best friend in Max Crepeau. I know.
I don't think that. I think Hasal has the potential, but I just don't think he's at Crepeau's level. So I think it's at the moment a downgrade in goal.
Did you not watch MLS's back?
What, you want to tell me that his like 3-game sample?
If we're gonna say Gago Slonina gets a move to Juve after existing in Chicago's goal for 9 games, then yes, I'm gonna say Thomas Hasal after 4 games is at the same level of Maxime Crepeau.
He's not at the same level as Crepeau, but
yeah, nobody can be the same level as Maxime Crepeau. That's literally what you just sounded like. What do they need then? If you're not sold on these guys, what do they need?
I think they need a dominant center back. I want to see
Dorian Youngworth. Excuse me.
Settle down over there, all right? I know you're number one on the Florian Youngworth hype train, but let's relax.
Please no.
I want to say, were they playing a back 5 at some point last season?
They went into a back 5 at some point, but I think with the players that they've got, it makes more sense to do back 4. But they did. They went Veselinovic, Youngworth, and Godoy.
Yeah, I think they need like an Aaron Long type of center back. Like obviously hard to get these guys because it's rare, but like Walker Zimmerman type, a Miles Robbins type, a Yamar, like just some big name dominant center back to really like help lock it down, help Hasal make the transition into being the starter. I worry about the back line for them. I just feel like there's some decent guys in the back line, but I'm concerned that it might be leaky. I just think that's their weak spot at the moment.
Yeah. For me, if you look at this roster, they've got 1 goalkeeper and they've got a history of injured goalkeepers. So they better fix that. That's
pretty fair.
And they've only got 1 left back. Or, I mean, you could play Javian Brown out there. I'm sure you could play Nerwinski on that side too. But I would reckon they'd probably go get 1 other person who can play on that side. Center mid depth is okay. Seb Berhalter coming in is a pretty decent pickup, I think, for the depth part of it. Striker depth, Cavallini, Brian White, David Egbo. Acedo and Raposo on the wings with Dejome and Habibullah, which I think is a draft pick, if I remember correctly. They're good pretty much all over the place in terms of depth, I think. But, man, I would not go into a season with 1 goalkeeper on roster.
Well, technically on here right now, they have Evan Newton. He's currently loaned out according to this, but he is the only other goalkeeper on this roster.
Yeah, I'm on transfer market. They take the loans out, so they better call him back.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they go pick at the Canadian Premier League and just take somebody to be a backup, Blackman is one of 2 people who was brought in, and he's probably the only one who's going to get time, so he's my best addition. And I'm really going to sit here and wait for you to tell me that Tristan Blackman's their best addition.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other option to bring anybody else in.
That's great.
I think their first round draft pick is actually their best addition, whoever that was.
Maxime Crepeau, obviously the biggest loss, but I don't even think that's awful.
I'm not going to say anything. You just keep going.
Ryan Gauld, my player to watch. He had when he came in the back half of 2021, he basically pulled this team into the playoffs with Brian White. Is he going to continue that, or is he going to pull a Kaku and just disappear into existence?
My player to watch is Daibar Caicedo.
Wrong. It's Brian White.
No. I think everybody's watching Brian White. We've been over this before when I said Alex Mouille.
Red Bull makes the world watches.
Daibar Caicedo is my one to watch. I think he can be super exciting and fun to watch on the wing. Definitely had bits where he showed some strong potential last season. So I think maybe hopefully now a year settled into the league, maybe feels a bit more comfortable, a bit more used to the play style. So be keeping an eye on him.
Good. What's the biggest question?
I think my biggest question is, can they keep the momentum that they had at the end of last season? Because they struggled at the beginning of the season, then got hot towards the middle and stayed hot towards the end and were able to sneak into the playoffs. Can they keep that momentum? You know, can Brian White stay hot? Can Ryan Gauld stay hot? Can they manage to keep it together in the back? Or is it going to fall apart and kind of go back to the old Vancouver that we've known?
Brian White needs to cool down because he is so on fire. He's literally melting the polar ice caps right now. When you play in Vancouver, that's a risk you take, but like,
good analogy. I like that.
I thought of it just now.
They're just going to be called Vancouver after you. Well,
there's no Whitecaps anymore. They're just Vancouver Caps.
Yeah, they'll just be Vancouver FC.
For me, it's Hasal up to the task, right? He was very, very good, and when he played in about 7 games when Crepeau went to international duty last year and was okay. He was all right. Is he up for a full season of being the number one? I think he is, but that's the big question for me. Where do they finish, Connor?
I can't say that they make the Magic again and make the playoffs. I feel like I'm thinking, oh man, I can't say for sure, but I'm kind of leaning towards maybe like 9 to 12 range.
Oh, that's harsh.
Sorry.
I have them 7 to 10. I think they're kind of like Red Bull, just in or just out. But I think that low is a bit harsh when teams like San Jose exist.
Yeah, well, that's why San Jose is finishing at the bottom.
All right, let's move on. Colorado, the biggest. I still don't understand how this happened, but Robin Fraser led this team to first in the West last year. 17, 7, and 10 with 61 points. Still trying to figure it out, but projected 11 based off of last year's, actually based off of the signings this year and kind of the way they play. Our good friend William Yarbrough in goal. Rosenberry at right back, Trusty and Abubakar at center back. Estevez.
Trusty's gone.
He's gone in
Okay,
July.
but like when he's gone, who's
I'm making it. These projected 11s are day one.
Fine.
Does it lead into my big question for 2022? Maybe.
Don't spoil it.
Are you spoiling things, Connor?
No,
Maybe.
You're the one spoiling things. You're the one that just admitted it.
Quiet down there. Bad hair.
All right. Start over again. I want to hear you say William Yarbrough again.
We're moving back into the center mid here with Jack Price, Mark Anthony Kay, and new signing Max at center attacking mid with Michael Barrios on the right, Diego Rubio at striker, and Greg's favorite non-playing left wing to call in to every national team, Jordan Lewis. Pause. It's a joke. I know we've got new Colorado fans watching this. We know his name's Jonathan. Go back to some of our other episodes and you'll find the joke somewhere. Any questions on the way that this happens?
There's a glaring lack of Drew Moore in the team. That's all I'm gonna say.
Why do you think they brought him back? They knew Trusty was gone.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Did they improve during this window?
I'm trying to think about who they've lost. I know they lost left back Kellen Acosta.
Very good.
Did they really lose much else? They're
How
gonna
about
lose Trusty.
how about U.S. Youth National Team star Cole Bassett?
Right, right. Yeah, Cole Bassett's gone. That's a big loss. I can't say that they improved. No, I don't know if they got worse or not, but I can't say that they improved.
I agree. I think Max and Bassett are a wash. I think Max is probably better than Bassett, but Bassett had a higher ceiling. Acosta for K are two peas in the pod. Trusty is out, and they're going to replace him with either Drew Moore or Abu Kaita from Colorado. No real improvements there. Maybe, like I said, Max is probably the only true improvement there. So I'm going to say no.
That's debatable.
What do they need? For me, there's just something about this attacking lineup that just feels really weird. Like a team that finished first in the West with Jonathan Lewis, Michael Barrios, and Diego Rubio up top doesn't make sense to me, not even in the slightest. And if I remember correctly, and I'm going to double check this while I speak, they've got a designated player spot open or two.
Most likely.
Because I know Max is.
They've got two guys right now listed in their U22 initiative.
But they've got pure designated player spots.
Yeah, nobody else has the designated player category right now.
Because Nomley left, right? So you've technically, and because this hasn't been updated with Max yet, but you've got two designated player spots. Go get a winger. I mean, go get somebody who is going to at least give you some depth. Like, it just feels weird.
You can't use a designated player spot on a depth signing.
No, not. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Not give you depth, create depth. Whoever you sign is going to come in and start, but you'll drop somebody who, if that guy gets hurt, goes on international duty, whatever, you're not fishing for USL players to make that happen, right? That I should have phrased that better. My fault. It just feels weird. And again, I can't say much because they finished first in the West last year with the same team, but it just feels weird to me.
Yeah. The starting lineup itself is pretty solid all around, to be honest. Yep. I feel like there are probably, I think I agree. I think the attacking depth is lacking a bit there. You could definitely improve on the quality of the starting attack, I would say. Maybe not by a ton, but there's definitely room for improvement there, especially if you have designated player spots open. So yeah, I think I would agree with you. That's probably their spot that they could improve.
Best edition, Max, I think. Any arguments there?
You're pretty high on Max Alves.
Yeah, they haven't had who's the last true playmaker they have that lasted more than half a season? Gashi.
When I was trying to look up Max Alves, I could not find like any information on it. It looked like the most he played was like 15 games so far. And I'm not even sure about that. I think I saw like transfer markets at like 10. I mean, maybe they're just not tracking it well, but I couldn't find him on like SofaScore, couldn't find him on Who Scored. I just couldn't find anything about him. So I'm like,
you got 21 games for Flamengo. I believe, yeah, he played in the Copa Libertadores. I have to find the article about it, but I'm almost certain that they beat out a bunch of Premier League teams for him, which is why I'm very high on him.
Okay. It's weird because I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but I always compare him, I would compare him in terms of like game time to someone like Julian Araujo, who has played like almost 70 games already in his career, and he's the same age. So I'm always like a little cautious when I see someone coming in at 20 who's only played like 20 games in his career. I know Araujo is a little bit of an exception, but that's kind of like my standard. And like if someone has played the amount of games that Araujo has played, then I'm like, okay, he's probably been played for a reason. But that's why I think the potential is obviously there with Alves, but I'm just kind of unsure with him at the moment.
He so yeah, okay. I can't find it, but what they're talking about, the way that they're speaking about the way that he plays reminds me a lot of Pozuelo or Maxi. Technical, athletic, left-footed, really good vision, goal dangerous. I'm high on him.
I'm gonna go with Abubakar Keita as my best signing.
Okay.
I think that's an excellent Trusty replacement for when Trusty leaves. Another young player who's gotten a bunch of or is starting to get a bunch of experience with Columbus, and now has a golden opportunity to slide right into that Colorado backline as soon as Trusty's gone. So I like that signing for them. Good job being proactive and realizing that you're going to have that hole once Trusty's gone.
My guess is that all happened after Arsenal came in and was like, "Give us your player."
I still can't believe Trusty got to move to Arsenal. That's mind blowing to me.
It just shows you where we're at as a league, right?
Or it just shows you how low Arsenal are going. No, I mean, Trusty's a good player, but like, I mean, there's better center backs in this league, and they went and grabbed Aaron Austin Trusty.
To each their biggest own. Loss.
I mean, I don't want to say Trusty because he is going to be here for half the season, so maybe I'll go Nomley. Just as I know we were talking about them lacking attacking depth, so obviously Nomley would help with that. And I just think it's weird that they don't want to use any of their DP spots really, except for the one U22 initiative. So I'll go Nomley, I guess.
Kellen Acosta, that's easy.
Oh, I forgot about Kellen.
How dare you forget about our Lord and Savior?
That's terrible. Yeah, Kellen Acosta is their biggest loss, easily.
Kicked off.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, that's so bad. That just ruined my day.
Player to watch in 2022.
And if he were still here, I totally would have said Cole Bassett. But
it's probably gonna have to be his replacement, right?
Yeah, I'll say Max Alves just because I want to see whether he lives up to the hype or not. I want to see if he transitions over well because it seems to be hit or miss sometimes if these guys can't transition and succeed in this league.
Sure. I also said Max, big name, big money. Need to see if he settles in quickly or how long it takes him to adjust, and that'll be a big question. But for me, because Connor spoiled it already, the biggest question going into the season: will this team survive without Aaron Austin Trusty in the second half of the year? He was in our top 10 center back list. He was in a lot of people's top center back, defensive player of the year and stuff like that. Those honor, he was in the finals, but he was in that conversation, and he helped lead a team to a first place finish in the West against teams like Seattle and Sporting. What are they going to do without him? I think Abu Kaita is an okay replacement. I think you're higher on him than I am. It's not an awful pickup, but he doesn't have as much experience as I think we all think he does. I think he's got like 10 games a season for the last four seasons or something like that. So that's my big question.
Yeah, that's fair. I think my question is, they seem to have gotten like the most out of all of their players last season, and because there's not really like star potential on this team, and they were able to still get the first seed in the West. My question is, can Robin Fraser get the same out of them again this year? There's going to be a lot more turnover in this team. Losing Bassett, losing Acosta, losing Trusty midway through the season. Can he still get the most out of these guys and keep them towards the top?
I think it's extremely disrespectful that you just called Jonathan Lewis now the star. But
that's because Jordan Lewis is the star.
We'll move on. Where do you got him finishing?
I think this team will be towards the lower part of the playoff picture. I don't think they click on the same magic that they had last season. I'm thinking maybe like 5 through 8. So I think most likely they'll be a playoff team, but could see them possibly sliding out.
I've got them 4 through 7. I don't think they slide out. I just think that the West is a little bit wider spread. I mean, you saw it last year where basically everything was kind of decided on the last day except for positions. So I think
that's not true. I mean, RSL made the playoffs.
It was, I know, but it wasn't like the East where there was not a single person. I mean, there were 3 teams locked in. West
had but 4. there was a huge amount of teams in the West last year. It was like 5 through 9 had a chance to make the playoffs last year on the last day.
Yeah, but
Minnesota, Vancouver.
In the East, it was like 4 through 10.
No, NYC clinched before the last day, I'm pretty sure. And then it was Atlanta, Orlando, Red Bull, DC, Columbus, and Montreal. It was a lot, but the West had almost just as much. Minnesota, Vancouver, RSL, LA Galaxy, and I'm pretty sure LAFC was still alive on the last day too.
That's fair. I think we overlooked a lot of the other games because they were just the only thing that mattered was the RSL game for us. But moving into the area of Los Angeles, Greg Vanney goes into year 2, taking a team that he led to 8th in the West last year after a brilliant bicycle kick Damir Kryluk goal to knock them out in the 95th minute. 13, 12, and 9 with 48 points, just missed the playoffs. Looking at a 4-3-3 shape like they did last year. Jonathan Bond in goal, Araujo at right back, Williams and Koulibaly at the center back spots with Villafana on the left, Raveloson, Delgado, their new signing, and Efrain Alvarez in center attacking mid, that midfield 3, Cabral, Grandsir, and then Chicharito or Jovanovic up top. Any complaints? Any thoughts?
Who did you say at left back again?
Villafana.
Okay. No, I don't think I have any complaints.
Were you going to complain?
No, I just missed who you said.
Because you don't listen to me?
I sometimes listen to you.
I get it. Did they improve? What do you think?
I'm going to say, I guess I'm trying to think about who they lost.
Daniel Steres, Jono Dos Santos are 2 of the big ones.
Yeah. Nah, I'm not going to say they improved. I think they probably stayed about put.
Okay. I agree. I don't think they really improved. Losing Steres hurt. Dos Santos basically straight up replaced with Delgado, brought in Kelvin Leardam for some depth, Raheem Edwards for some depth. But other than that, nothing too much. They are looking at, and this is what isn't included in our projected 11, is the rumored signing of Douglas Costa from Juventus. If they bring him in, I say they basically break even. They will go very MLS 4.0, score 9 goals, give up 10, and lose. What do they need? I think they need a top-level center back. I'm not really sold on Williams. Dupuis was okay. Don't know enough about Koulibaly. I think he slid in at the back end of the year. And center attacking mid-depth that doesn't have the combined age of nearly 80. Really cool to see Sasha and Vasquez back, but please let them retire.
Yeah, I think you could probably get away with playing Efren Alvarez as the central attacking player if you really needed to. Or
Sure, but they haven't rated him in 3 years.
yeah, I'm not sure why they do that, but I think I agree. I think center back is probably their position where they can improve the most.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm sure they'll find somebody. Best addition for you?
Marky Delgado.
Me too. I think, go ahead. I know you're trying to say something.
No, I mean, there's not really much to say. There's not a huge list of additions, and Marky Delgado is probably the only one that is going to start for them. So.
Actually, what I will say is we're both wrong. The answer is Richard Sanchez.
Yeah, nice try.
Biggest loss for me, I'm going to go Steres over Jonah Dos Santos because of that center back depth we just talked about. JDS was replaced basically instantly, and Steres is still kind of a hole that's looming over there. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I would say Steres as well.
All right, who are you watching? 2022. Wake up.
I'm not sleeping. I'm just. I'm gonna watch.
You're crying because Richard Sanchez is not on Atlanta.
I'm crying because I have to look at another team without Max Crepeau.
That's good.
I want to watch. Oh man, Efren Alvarez. I'll say Efren Alvarez. I think a lot of people have eyes on Julian Araujo already. I think Alvarez. I mean, they have to use him, but he's got the potential. He has really strong potential. Granted, it seems like the potential goes down every year that they just don't really use him consistently. So I just feel like that attacking position is open. There's no way he can't beat out Victor Vasquez and Sasha Kljestan. Like, if they give him the opportunity, it could be a breakout year for him. So I'll be keeping my eye on him.
Give him 3 years. He'll be the Jesse Lingard of MLS.
Oh, he really might be, honestly.
I also said Alvarez. This is his time to really show the world that he has the ability to be a true 90-minute first team playmaker. He's been in and out of the team, starting, not starting, whatever. This is his chance to make that point proven that he can do it.
Yeah.
The biggest question I've got relates to Mr. Douglas Costa and how will he fit into this team? Will he kind of come in centrally and be a playmaker to give some relief to Efren Alvarez if he gets overwhelmed? Will he use his flair on the wing to create service for Chicharito? Who's going to be dropped? There are a lot of questions around this, right? Because you got Cabral and Grandsir, who are both relatively decent French wingers that one of them is going to have to drop if you get Douglas Costa in. So you're going to have to figure that out.
My question, I guess I'd have to maybe get your opinion on this first, but as of right now, it's looking like they have listed Cabral as a young DP. They have Chicharito as a DP, and then they have Joveljic as the U22 initiative. Is Douglas Costa coming in as a DP, or are they buying one of those other guys down?
I can't imagine that he's not going to be a DP, but they don't have to buy anybody down. I'm almost certain.
Is U22 initiative considered to be a DP spot?
No, they're separate. You got Cabral. Cabral is a DP and Chicharito is a DP.
Okay.
So young DP and DP, I think, are in the same category. You get designated player spots, and the last designated player spot is supposed to be like a young DP, and then there's the U22 initiative, I think. Probably something we need to look into.
So many stupid rules in this league.
You're not wrong.
My question going into the season is, what are they doing with Joveljic? I just feel like he's talented, and I feel like they're probably paying him a decent amount. Probably too much to just sit behind Chicharito all year. So are they going to play with two strikers? Will they end up just benching him for most of the season and having him as a sub? So
I agree with that one as well. I think that's a massive question that we need to have answered because He's got so much talent, way too much to be sitting behind Chicharito. All right. Where do you have him finishing?
It's tough, honestly. I don't know if I know for sure. I'm thinking.
Of course, you don't know for sure. Nobody knows for sure. Give me a range.
You can say 6 to 9 is my range.
Interesting. I got him 7 to 10. So we're close, but not that close.
Yeah, I think 6 to 9 might be a little generous. I think I'll probably end up changing that once I do predictions, but we will see.
We now move to everybody's favorite deep dive last year.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
The current most viewed video on our channel by like a long shot. With the most dislikes and the most comments are our friends in Minnesota. Hello, everybody. It's your time again. But notice, this isn't a deep dive. This is a not so deep dive. So you can take all your comments about this not being deep enough and put them in your ice fishing holes or something. I don't know. What do they do in Minnesota? Complain?
Are you trying to piss them off worse than last year? All right, go ahead.
Adrian Heath takes their team that finished 5th in the West last year at 13, 11, and 10 with 49 points into yet another action-packed season. Right now, I've got them in a 4-3-3 with Miller in goal, Metnier, Debasi, Boxall, and Gasper in a back four. Trapp, Hassani Dotson, and Emmanuel Reynoso in the middle with Robin Lod, Fragapane, and Hunu in the front three. What do you think about that?
Pretty much, I think, unchanged from what they had last year.
Yep.
So, yeah. Pretty spot on.
Did they improve during this window? I'm going to say it's pretty much an even split. They brought in some striker depth with the South African, whose name I'm going to not even try to pronounce. I think it's Halong Wane. And Abu Danladi.
Yeah, your favorite player.
I still can't believe that signing happened, but they did lose some depth in Alonso and Grey Goose, who didn't really play too much anyway. Finley as well. I don't think it hurts too much. I'm not going to say they improved, but I think it's pretty much an even split.
Yep, agreed.
All right, what do they need then to make this an improved team?
I want to say they probably need a little bit more winger depth. I think Lod and Fragapane are great starters, but you've lost Finley now, who was a great rotational piece for you. And I mean, you could go with the younger guys there, but I feel like if one of those guys is to get injured, now you're really, you've got some questions about what you're going to do on the wings. So I think they could get a little bit deeper there.
I agree. I kind of just talked about depth in general, right? The squad, if you look at it I look at it on Transfer Market, right? If you look at this thing on Transfer Market, it just feels really thin. You've got 5 players who can play central mid right now, at least listed as a center mid, center defensive mid, or a cam. You've got left back depth problems because you've only got Chase Gasper there. And I mean, I guess you could play O'Neal Fisher there too, but is that really your dream? Probably not, right? Yeah, it just feels really thin. So I'd say really center mid depth, left back depth, winger depth. Just more players. They just feel
all the players.
It feels like if one person gets hurt, this team just falls apart. Like if Emmanuel Reynoso gets hurt, this team will finish bottom of the list. That's probably
I don't know about that, but
that's an exaggeration. I know it's an exaggeration, but it just feels like you're one injury away, like one key injury from this team being bang average at best.
Well, I'm pretty sure they have another designated player spot open. So let's see if they use it.
Are you leading into my biggest question for the season again? Absolute.
I can actually see your notes. I hate to break it to you.
Evidently you can.
All All right, what's next?
Who was their best addition?
Gonna say
Don't even think about it.
probably I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it. The South African striker. I think you said it was like Halangwane or something like that.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I think he's their best addition because it's between him, Abu Danladi, and I think Eric Dick. Yeah, so it's a pretty straightforward answer for me.
The answer is Eric Dick. Obviously, if you don't have a fourth string goalkeeper, what are you? No, it's of course Halongwane. I'm interested to see how they use him. Right? Who knows? Obviously, you're number one, but where are you going to fit him in, and what does he bring? Because obviously, my knowledge of South African strikers at U22 level is not as strong as I'd like it to be. So I don't quite know what he brings to the table, but I'm very interested to see what he does.
I like it a lot because I was looking back at Unu's numbers from last season, and there's a lot of games that he did not go the full 90. I think I wrote it in my write-up for him. I think Unu went 26 appearances last season, and only twice he went the full 90. So
no kidding.
He's going to get a lot of like transition time where he can get a few minutes, not really have a ton of pressure on him, and kind of get used to the game, the play style here. So I think it's actually a perfect situation for him to just kind of adjust slowly and not be rushed into things.
That tells me Abu Danladi is playing 25 games this year, and that makes me absolutely sick.
He might play a bunch of games.
God, that's awful.
Listen, Minnesota
has scored more than 2 goals in 4 years.
Minnesota has a quota of having bad strikers on their team. Last year it was Ramon Abila. Now it's Abu Danladi.
How dare you? Who's their biggest loss?
I'm gonna say Ethan Finley, just because I think that they're lacking in that winger depth, and I think Finley was a fantastic rotational guy. I think Finley started more games than I'm probably giving him credit for, but at the least in this lineup, he would be a phenomenal rotation guy, a depth guy. So I'm gonna say Finley.
I said Alonso for the center mid depth and the leadership kind of depth, but realistically, they didn't lose too much. They'll be okay.
Yeah.
All right, give me your player to watch 2022. There's only one answer.
Abu Danladi.
Incorrect.
What, you don't like that one? My player to watch is Emmanuel Reynoso, because Reynoso had a down year last year in terms of goal contributions. It seemed like he was still playing well, but I'm pretty sure he finished really low on goal contributions on the season. So I want to watch and see if he bounces back this year, and we kind of get to see the Reynoso from their playoff run. But maybe we see more of the same. Maybe he just doesn't get involved with the goals as much again this year.
Hassani Dotson's going to be a top 5 center mid in the league this year. Like, you can count on it. I think he's going to absolutely blow up this year. Really excited to watch him play. He's my player to watch. Keep an eye on him. He's going to be massive.
Yeah, I was thinking about Dotson was my other choice, but yeah, fair enough.
All right, you want to know what my biggest question for the season is?
Is it what they're doing with the last designated player spot?
It's who are they using that designated player spot on after the All-Star break? Every year they go into the season with a squad that's like, this is all right. And then they go sign somebody massive like Pragapane, Hunu, Reynoso, whatever, and they go on a run. So who's it going to be this year?
Who knows?
That's my big question.
My question this year, who gets more game time in goal, Tyler Miller or Dane Sinclair?
Who?
Will we see any Dane Sinclair this season, or will he just be on the bench the entire time?
Who?
Dane, not Dwayne. Dane.
My boy Dwayne. Light the fire, baby. Light the fire. That's good. I like that. I think that's a really good point. And I think it's really going to be I think it's Miller's spot to lose. And I think it's who's healthy, right? In the same way that St. Clair was starting, went to Canadian national team duty, Tyler Miller stepped in and never left. Same idea. If Tyler Miller steps in, gets hurt, St. Clair steps in and
yeah, that seems to be the way that they rotate.
Yeah, it's whoever's hot. So
yeah.
All right, where do you have them finishing?
I think probably 4 through 7 is what I'm thinking. I think their starting 11 is pretty strong. The depth could possibly drop them out of the playoffs. But I think ultimately they'll probably add a few more guys maybe and solidify that a bit better. And then of course whenever they inevitably sign their last designated player spot mid-season, they'll make that late push. So I think they'll make the playoffs and just the lower part, 4 through 7.
Rumor has it Thomas Chacon's coming back.
Oh, I love me some Thomas Chacon.
They are finishing, like, if I could go lower than 14, I would. I'd say like 15 to 17.
This is too much.
No,
I'm not here. I'm not here anymore.
I got them 5 to 7. I got them kind of same mindset you had. They'll be bouncing along that playoff, not playoff spot, and then make their run with their DP signing. We
should jump in. I feel like we've waffled for a while. I didn't keep track of when we started, but I feel like we've been going for a while.
It is 12:58. We started just about 12:57. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been only going for a minute.
Yeah.
It's been a blur.
All right.
Kick us off, your favorite team.
Our Supporter Shield points holding record, Bruce Arena led New England Revolution. First in the East last year, 22-5-7 with 73 points to set the record. Opening day, assuming Matt Turner has not been sold already. Matt Turner's in goal. Brad Knighton's the next guy up. Brandon Bye, Andrew Farrell, Henry Kessler, DeJuan Jones in the back four. Midfield three of Leggett, Polster, and Maciel. I think I'm going to leave Tommy Mack out of this because I love myself a good bit of controversy. And obviously Carlos Hill in front of them with Buxa and Bo. What do you think?
That's assuming Books is here this season as well.
It is. But what I'll do is I'll put a slash and put our good friend Josie in there, who's rumored to be his.
Oh yeah, I love me some Josie out the door on this team. He's getting the band back together.
I'm telling you, next thing you're gonna hear is Michael Bradley just got traded from Toronto for a bag of balls because
Jermaine Jones will come out of retirement to join the team.
Landon Donovan.
Fabian Johnson.
He's gonna crawl out from the broadcast booth. Let's go, boys. Shades on.
I was waiting for you to call me, Bruce. I was suited up already.
He just rips off his suit. He's got the kid on.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh man, go ahead. Did they improve this window?
No,
not a chance. To be fair, how do you improve on the points record, right?
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, I don't think they improved.
No, Turner leaving, no replacement yet. Gonzalez is a subtraction by addition. I love that line. I typed that out. That's awesome.
Yeah, Tajon Buchanan's gone now too.
No Tajon. I think Leget's a good pickup. I know we joke about him a lot, but I think as an MLS level center mid, I think that's a good pickup. He knows the league. He keeps the ball. They're going to let him go forward a little bit, work with Carlos Hill. I think that's a good pickup. Books is probably gone. Altidore might be in to replace him, but he's never healthy anyway. It's definitely not improved, but it'll be an interesting team for sure. What do they need if you want to say that they got to improve? What do they need?
I mean, they need a goalkeeper.
Yeah,
if Matt Turner's gone, I would not feel confident with Brad Knighton being the replacement. So
I don't think Brad Knighton's bad, but he's not anymore. Is he not a starting level?
Oh yeah, and he's certainly a big downgrade from Matt Turner.
I mean, listen, if we're going to look at numbers, I wouldn't say he's a big downgrade, but
Oh, here you go with the numbers again.
yeah, I know numbers only work when they work in your favor. I forgot about
Yes, come on now. You should know this by now.
that. Yeah, first team goalkeeper for sure. To be fair, if Matt Turner leaves and they don't feel comfortable with Brad Knight, they do have Ty Mack, who can do anything. So I can't believe I kept Ty Mack out of this lineup.
Big ups, Tommy Mack. Because Tommy can play anywhere.
Best addition for you?
Do you want me to say Omar Gonzalez? No, I'm kidding.
I want you to say it.
Sebastian Lletget.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be, right? It's him or Omar.
It's him, Omar, or Josie.
Well, allegedly Josie.
Allegedly Josie, yeah. Yeah, Lletget, obviously. I think it's a great move. It's a very Bruce Arena move. Give me a guy who knows the league, is not super flashy, gets the job done. That's Sebastian Lletget to a T. Or 2 T's, because he's got 2 T's in his name.
Nice.
I know, right? How good am I? Biggest loss, Tajon Buchanan for me. Massively influential in that team over the last 2 years. I think that's going to be a tough replacement.
That's a fair one, but I'll go Turner since you went Buchanan.
Yep, either or. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Player to watch, 2022. Who is it? And don't say Omar Gonzalez.
Tommy Mack. Come on.
Good answer.
If you want a real answer from me, Henry Kessler. I find him so entertaining to watch.
I like that one.
That man has CONCACAF flowing through his veins, and I love every second of it.
I'm telling you, him and Kellen Acosta need to be on every
it'd be so good
national team from now until the end of time, simply for the CONCACAF memes. That's it.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Has to be.
I'm going to say Carlos Hill. I want to see if he keeps up his level of production from last year's stolen MVP award from Hani Mukhtar. I'm not still salty. But if they're going to lose, Buchanan and Buxa, he's going to have a lot of work to do to create. And he had a lot of assists last year, but he's going to need to do a lot more. So he's one to watch. What's your question going in? I'll go question first. Question for me, what's the plan after Turner's gone? We talked about it already. Nobody really knows.
Yeah, mine's pretty similar. Just a bit more generic. It's just, how do they replace these guys? How do you replace Turner? How do you replace potentially Buxa? How do you replace Tajon?
How do you replace Tom Mack?
Right now, it doesn't seem like they're really doing it.
Yeah, I agree. Where do you got them finishing? Let's finish up this episode.
Oh, man. If Bruce Arena was not in charge of this team, to be honest with you, I would just not feel confident in them at all. But Bruce Arena just works magic somehow every single time.
Doubt Bruce.
I may end up changing this. Oh man, no, you go first. I really don't know where to put them.
I got them 3 to 5 in the East. I think
that's generous.
I think that they still have enough talent and a mastermind of a coach that they will get results. They won't break records, but they'll get results. 3 to 5 in the East.
I'm gonna say 6 to 9. I think they go back.
Oh my God!
I think they go back to like teetering on the playoff line.
That is criminally low.
That's assuming Turner's gone. That's assuming Books is gone, and they don't replace them. Because as of right now, I don't really see anything where they are rumored to replace those guys.
You're telling me that a front three of Carlos Hill, Gustavo Bo, and Josie Altidore doesn't make the playoffs? Stop it.
I didn't say they don't make the playoffs.
Say they may not.
They may not.
Give me that front three with my high school team.
I'm concerned with Heel potentially getting hurt because he was battling some injuries last year, and I think he has a history of it. I don't think Bo can do it himself with Josie Altidore. He worked well with Buxa. I don't think Josie's the replacement there. Not to mention if Josie can stay healthy as well. I think they don't have a Turner replacement at the moment. They don't. I mean, I guess maybe they kind of replaced Tajon with legit, but not really.
They didn't. But they might
Yes,
change shape. It might be a whole new formation. They might not need to replace Tajon,
but
Brandon Vine.
it's also like
Brandon Vine and DeJuan Jones are the like top two left back, right back for us in the league.
I know they are. I think they'll still be strong enough defensively. I'm concerned about them going forward because I worry about Heel getting hurt, and then Sebastian Leget's your playmaker. I don't feel super confident in that.
Right here, right here.
I may end up changing it. Who knows? This may be my bold prediction, but we'll see.
How are you going to tell me that somebody who only passes the ball backwards can't be a playmaker? How are you going to tell me that? You can't.
You're right. I can't. You're right.
You're right. I'm right. I'm always right. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. All right. That's it from us. That is the end of season 3, episode 4. Let us know what you think on our clips, on our tweets, in the comments, wherever you're at. Make sure you follow us on all forms of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Make sure you follow us wherever you get your podcasts so you know when we go live. Grace is really upset that we are ending the episode, but that's just the way it is, Go on. Make sure you're telling all your friends about us. Follow us. Subscribe to us. We're about to blow up. Bold prediction 2022.
Nice. I like that. Not so bold, though.
You got anything else to add?
Nope.
All right. Well, Grace is saying goodbye. I'm saying goodbye. You're saying goodbye. We will see you next time on the next episode of the Designated Players Podcast. See you.